Hello, 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 this is Ken. This is me making an official disclaimer, even though I'm making a video responding to someone's opinions, and this will not be the only one. I have one on Has Been Hotel I still have to make. I don't know why I'm doing it with my head, just for the fun of it. I want you all to know that even though I'm making this video, it is not... You're allowed to like and dislike what you want, but if you're going to give shit reasons for it, expect people to correct your shit. Well, anyway, here we go again with another video.
Where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those.
Holy shit, it's you again.
This one is for Death Pie, who says to rant about Shakugan no Shana.
And just like that, now you're back in my territory, bitch.
I love Shana's character design. I think it's one of the best designs probably ever.
Maybe I jumped the gun here. Maybe you don't hate Shauna. Maybe you like it as much as I do. I'm sorry about that.
The fucking hair looks amazing. I love her green school uniform. I love the black trench coat, like full body leather thing that she's wearing at the start with the cape. She looks awesome. She just looks like a total fucking badass.
Again, I completely agree. She's a very cool character. When they introduce her in a cool way. Throughout the whole show, she's a complete badass. Her design is great. Wow, I find myself agreeing with you, which I hate. I might have to go drink bleach after this.
So the main appeal of the show is that Shauna looks so good.
Oh, we're getting into the wrong territory now. Bad hipster. Bad. That is not the appeal of the show. The appeal of the show is the story behind it. The characters, the lore, what's going to happen next. Basic shit that all story has going for it. Not all story has this working well, but Shakugan no Shana did it well.
Unfortunately, Shakugan no Shana is dog shit.
Will you shut up, man?
And the reason is that Shauna begins the story as a badass character.
Yes, she starts the show off as a badass character. In my opinion, she finishes off as a badass character. Yes, she's a bit emotional towards the end, but I expect that from characters who are developing in the way that Shauna did. The whole show is her starting off with no emotions, suppressing them and all that, acting like she didn't have them. So it makes sense that you want to go a little bit more towards the other direction when it comes to the development.
Like, she's this stoic, hard-nosed warrior. She doesn't even have a name.
Yes, she doesn't have a name at the beginning of the show. And honestly, I found that kind of disheartening. I could not imagine living as long as Shauna did without having my own identity. And that's what a name is. It's your identity. It's what makes it you.
She's initially called just the flaming-haired, burning-eyed swordsman.
You got that wrong. It was flame-haired, burning eyes huntress. You might call it a small detail, but if you're a big fan of the show, it's certainly one that you wouldn't have fucked up. I mean, I kind of fucked it a few times. I had to take this take myself, but it wasn't so much that I don't remember what it was called so much as for some reason the words didn't want to escape my mouth.
And she works for the Spirit Society. What the hell is the thing from Bleach called? She works for that. The Soul Society.
No. The Spirit Society from Bleach and the one that they have in Shakugan no Shana are completely different. One is more of a system. You have your captain, you have the head captain, you have the lieutenant, you have the people who work under them. The system in Shakugan no Shana is more of a go out, you kill denizens. We don't care how you do it. We don't care when you do it. They don't care about that. It's just go out and do it. They're completely two different things. One is people who eat souls, the other is existence. You can eat someone's soul and they'll be remembered. You can eat someone's existence and they will never be remembered or exist ever again. You can't bring someone back from non-existent. However, in Bleach, you could theoretically bring someone back from the dead.
She fights monsters and has no real need for emotions and stuff like that.
Okay. The hunters are allowed to have personalities. The people who are killing the denizens, the flame hazes, are allowed to have personalities. They're allowed to do stuff outside of it. She had just dedicated her whole life to killing denizens that she never cared to do anything else. So it's good for her to expand a little bit. It's good for her to become her own person and not just a flame haze. That is not emotionally healthy. That was the point of her character development, was growing as a person.
And there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with her. And from her own perspective, she's proud of what she's doing and she's good at it, and there's no reason to think beyond that.
You could literally say that for almost any character in any fiction. They all think what they're doing is fine. They all are okay with it up until the point when they discover there's more past it. Fuck you and fuck your ability to overlook a character's growth. Just all forms of fuck you.
She meets this fuckboy kid, Yuji Everylead.
Oh, you're so fucking clever. I would have never thought of that. By the way, it's Yuji Sakai. If you're going to insult the guy, at least come up with a name close to his name. Like, you could have said Yuji Suckboy or something like that. Nope, Yuji Everylead. Okay. So fucking clever you are.
That's where I came up with that name.
If you're secretly referencing something, I don't understand it. If you use the word Yuji Everylead somewhere else, or because it's terrible. Again, it's not clever. It's really stupid. Almost like you.
Yuji Everylead is like, oh, what you're doing is wrong. You need to have morals and a system of, you need to be emotional and you need to fucking be more human. And he just kind of pushes these ideals onto her.
I could not count on two hands the number of wrong sentences that you put there. Let's start with one. One, he didn't force anything on her. She practically stalked him through the first part of the show. Wait for him the torch to burn out so he'd stop existing, so that the treasure tool would disappear. That way, no citizen could get it. Number two, again, back to the whole pushing idea. She studied him, watching how he did stuff and all that. She was observing his morals and all that, and she was very confused. She was trying to figure out why this torch cared about people and all that. And because of that, she ended up making friends. She grew as a person, not via being forced to, or because that just naturally happens when you hang out with people. You're going to start to like them and all that. She is human, by the way. You could sit there and say she's not, but there's part of her that is. She was born into this world human, and if she were ever to lose Alistair, she would be human again. So, to her core, she is human. So it makes sense for her to have human emotions.
And through a combination of her, confused libido and the fact that I guess she likes this kid because he, I don't know, is paying attention to her at all, and she's never had that before.
Okay, so on one hand they have this soul society-based kind of idea. On the other hand, she has no one paying attention to her. Both these are wrong. I've already explained the one, now I'm going to explain the other. She has people paying attention to her. She has Alistair, the specials of everything. No, she hadn't seen him for a while, but she did interact with her. She has the entire Flame Haze community, which yes, she can interact with at any point. She just never cared to, because all she fucking knew was killing Dennison. Which, by the way, once again, her character development helps. I don't think you're a fan of this show anymore. Honestly, I'm happy about that. I don't want to share anything with you.
She basically ruins her life.
He did not ruin her life. He enriched it. He gave her more purpose besides killing Dennison until the day she dies. I know you think doing one thing to her die is perfectly fine and perfectly normal, and hey, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But when Sean was given the option, she did not want that. She wanted more out of life. How dare you?
Because now she's stuck in this situation where she's in love with this complete fucking moron. Who is not deciding between her and this other girl that he likes at school with big tits, who's also a fucking moron. And they're...
Yeah, claiming someone's a moron does not make any points, you fucking moron. How about making a fucking point?
They're all three now just total morons together. It's just a whole show of watching these fucking idiots go around in circles, having feelings for each other that nobody wants to confess.
This almost sounds like your typical shonen anime.
I hate it.
Dude, I don't care about your opinion. You'll sit there and rant over anything that would give you $15 to do it.
And the individual storylines, because it's an arc based action urban fantasy series. So each arc is basically introduce a generic bad guy, establish some side characters, work up to the point where we have a big fight, and then we have a big fight. Nothing unique about it, nothing particularly interesting or memorable.
Shakun no Shana has one of the most unique battle and power systems I have ever seen. Don't you dare take that away from it.
Go watch Index if you want a better version of the same thing that's way more creative and has better characters. But like,
you do look the type of person who would like Magical Index. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. It seems like an interesting anime, but it seems definitely more the pervy side, especially from what I saw from the first episode. I could be wrong, but back to Shagan no Shana. It had great characters. Alistair was amazing. Marjorie Doll was explosive. Shauna, as you admitted already, is a badass. Yuji, a little whiny, but he's your typical main character, so they're a little whiny, but he gets real cool, especially when he fuses with the snake of the festival. Yeah, it has amazing characters. Don't you stop trying to take away from this show.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad. It has a cool aesthetic. That was another, because I've always been into dark urban fantasy, and especially when it has that bright, bright colors beaming out of the darkness kind of aesthetic, like Persona 3 kind of looks like that as well. I loved the aesthetic of the show, but if you go back and watch it, the animation is not held up at all, of course.
I'm gonna stab you.
Honestly, I should use those more. Those are still funny. I don't know why.
It's mediocre JC staff production, and just the characters are fucking insufferable. And Shauna's stupid Urusai is not even cute. It's just annoying.
So noisy. Just shut up, shut up, shut up.
I love Rie Kugamiya, but it's not her best role, even if it is one of her most famous.
Honestly, I don't care too much about the voice actors. I mean, I appreciate what they do and all that, and I'll definitely look more into this one to find out what other roles she's done, but honestly, I care more about the actual story. The characters who voice the characters have no actual say in what goes on.
And locked her into the tsundere forever. So, yeah, I think Shauna is generally pretty dog shit. And
well, I think you're generally pretty dog shit. And unlike you, I've given actual evidence to point this out between both this video and the last video.
I remember I dropped the show about 4 episodes into season 2 because I was...
Come on, man. Everyone knows that season 2 of any show is always the best. Usually where they've already asserted themselves so you don't get a bunch of expositions and character add-ins. Yet they're not rushing the series to end. So, you're really fucked up there.
So furious that at the end of season 1, Shauna says, "I love you," finally. And at the start of season 2, we find out Yuji just didn't hear it. He couldn't hear her over whatever was going on.
Well, being surrounded by flames that are guaranteed to kill you definitely will do that, yes.
And she's too embarrassed to say it again.
Having never felt emotions before, up to this point, and only ever feeling them for about a few months, yes, that would definitely be embarrassing to say. Regular people sometimes struggle with saying the words, "I love you." Do you really expect Shauna to have it?
So we just reset. We just go back to exactly the way things were.
Excellent.
And I watched the first few episodes and nothing interesting was happening, and I was just like, well, this show is fucking awful. I don't know why I sat through so much of this.
Well, I remember watching it because it was a great show. I loved the characters, I loved the story, I loved the way they handle the characters, I loved the plot. Both actual plot and plot. Sorry, couldn't resist that joke. But in all honesty, it was a great show. I loved it, and I showed it to people, and they love it too. You seem to be the only person I know to have not liked this show, so that definitely speaks volume to you.
I do know. It's because Shauna looks so good. I mean, I still have, posters and stuff of Shauna that I keep around because I like this design.
I bet you do like the design. I mean, it's a cool design, but for some reason I have this idea that you like it for other reasons that I'd rather not talk about here.
And I want to continue looking at this character and pretending like the show she came from doesn't exist.
Thanks, Punch Bobby. It was getting really annoying to just stare into the camera like that. Well, Mr. Digital collection. This will be the last video I do on you, hopefully. I hate seeing your face. It's quite annoying. This face and the new one. Mr. Kent, I'll be seeing you next. And this is Ken out. Here's a baseball.